Francais de Jeu still on the front of the group, and Omega Pharma Quick-Step happy and contented. TourdeSuizaSt310km starting to show towards the front. They've definitely got options. Matty Breschel or perhaps Michael Morkov. Just under 10 kilometers remaining in this third stage of the Tour of Switzerland. It's been a tough day in the saddle for these riders, and this man, Nino Schurter from the breakaway, the Orica Green Age man, back into the main group, led by the Francais de Jeu team as they chase down the lone leader up front, Tosh van der Zande of Lotto Belisol. We've had lots of riders up the road. The early group of 2 riders chased down relatively early in the stage. And lots of riders really struggling. That's Rowan Dennis sitting third overall, who's slipping back and slipping out of contention.
Also just in front of him is Bradley Wiggins. So Bradley and Rowan Dennis sitting a bit too far back here. It's obviously the elastic band effect and on these tricky descents, and it does get fairly technical all the way in towards the finish. Still Francais de Jeu, the dark blue colours of that team towards the front. And another man that can do well from that team in this type of finish is Mathieu Ladagnou.
Super effort from Tosh van der Zande. A real fighting effort too, isn't it? He just wasn't willing to accept his fate. Would have been all too easy with 20 kilometers to go to accept the fact that the bunch was, just no more than 8 seconds behind. And it looked like it was all done at that point. But van der Zande said no. Himself and Agnoli showing plenty of ambition to try and keep this one clear.
So Lotto Belisol come into this race, and obviously lost Maxime Montfort. They've got Sander Armé, Vegard Breen, the young man, the neo-pro, and obviously Kenny de Haas, who I think has been distanced already. They've got Gert Dogs, Van der Sande is obviously in front, Van den Echten and Jelle Vanendert. So again, a great opportunity for Tosh van der Sande to get involved with the racing, and he's done that already. And Francais de Jeu are trying to chase him down. They aren't eating into his advantage. He's kind of holding about 20 seconds inside 10 kilometres to go. But Omega Pharma Quick-Step have done a good job here for Tony Martin in the yellow jersey. And he's got one rider helping him out, and that's Nicky Terpstra, Paris-Roubaix winner. But it looks as if he could be holding on to that jersey today.
Giant Shimano moving up on the right-hand side. TourdeSuizaSt310km in the left in yellow. And just ahead of them, Omega Pharma Quick-Step, and all those 3 squads will be grateful, I think, for the assistance from Francais de Jeu, and just ahead of them, Garmin Sharp. It hasn't all been left to Omega Pharma Quick-Step. Up front, toiling in the sunshine and heading towards Heiden, it's Tosh van der Zande. Stick your tongue out all you like, they're still going to chase you down. 15 seconds his advantage. Well, it's certainly not going to be enough. He hits that final ramp. He'll be all over him like a rash, but he's going to push as hard as he can for as long as he can. Looks over his shoulder, and I think he's really starting to feel it at this point. Of course, the Lotto Belisol team, Maxime Montfort was their GC contender, got unfortunately involved in an accident early in yesterday's first road stage, and Montfort was taken to hospital for observation, and his Tour of Switzerland completed there and then. So disappointment for him. Van der Zande, though, has been given an opportunity to try and make a name for himself. He's certainly done that today. Now down to 10 seconds. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much longer. That's Schurter from the breakaway group. Is just going to roll in towards the finish line in Heiden. His work is done. His effort is done. And he's learning about big-time World Tour stage racing and just what's involved.
And it's still the blue jerseys of Francais de Jeu at the front, doing a lot of the work in the last 3 to 5 kilometres. Van der Zande looks round. He knows it's all over for him with just under 8 kilometres to go. That's 5 miles. And you just see Marcus Burkhardt also up there for BMC, lurking, and he's another strong rider. And again, as we head towards this final climb, there's still plenty of action still to come.
So Marcus Burkhardt for the BMC squad, trying to see which of his teammates is around. Shark could be a man for this finish. Big, strong man. Certainly he's a man to help set things up. And don't forget, they've got Sylvain Dillier in fine sprinting form. He was just behind, well, I think he was third in the bunch sprint, so that would have made him 6th in yesterday's stage. And, fascinating slow motion action replay of Tosh van der Zande. The closing stages. Good effort from him. And should have shouted that he was last man. Wants to hang on for as long as he can, at least. And now it's Giant Shimano that picked things up, and this is Roadworks. Definitely the place to be, is at the front, racing through here.
It looks like John Degenkolb is the rider at the front, so obviously not setting themselves up for him. I'm just trying to look at who are the riders that are here at this moment in time. Giant Shimano have obviously got a very strong team, but who's the man they're looking after? Obviously, Mies gets the winner of the last stage of the Giro d'Italia, very capable in a finish like this. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out in the last 7 kilometres, because many teams are starting to emerge at the front. You can just see on the left-hand side the Giant Shimano in the white and the black. The right-hand side also France de Dieu have done a lot of work. The jerseys of Tinkoff in the yellow, with Berati trying to look after Matti Brescio. Matti Brescio rode tremendously well in the Tour of Luxembourg just last week as well. Very capable of a stage win here.
So Giant Shimano have John Degenkolb surprisingly doing a turn on the front. Whether he's going to get involved in the finishing sprint remains to be seen. Of course, they've got Luca Mezget's great work from him in the Giro d'Italia.
Well, this is Condécourt and Degenkolb doing the riding at the front. So they're trying to keep it as fast as they can. They're trying to look after their teammates that are sitting on the wheel. They want to hit this climb at the best possible position, but just see the speed that's in the peloton at the moment as it's all lined out.
Certainly is. Tom Dumoulin as well placed for the for this squad, sitting second overall. I'm sure he's in the line there. Freidler on the front now, or is it? No, it is DeCourt. Now DeCourt sitting second. Yeah, Freidler on the front. Freidler sitting a little bit further back. Tinkoff Saxo trying to get organised now. Roman Kreuziger so busy on that final climb yesterday. Kreuziger, rare opportunity to race for himself and himself alone, with Alberto Contador having done Dauphiné. Kreuziger sitting 14th overall, 33 seconds back, still very much in contention. We'll just try and make sure that he can stay out of trouble. Giant Shimano setting a hectic tempo. There's a massive distance between the front of this peloton and the back, so if riders want to get involved in this one, well, it's going to be very, very tough indeed to move up through the group.
This is a fast pace. Condécourt is stringing things out. Just behind him, John Degenkolb. They're the two riders that have been riding. The rider sitting in fourth place is the rider Jörg Priedler, the Austrian rider. But just moving up is also Niki Terpstra to try and help out Tony Martin. But just watch out for that rider, second yellow jersey there, and that is the rider of Matti Brescio up towards the front. Also Roman Kreuziger, number 71 as well. So Tinkoff looking for a win here today.
Christian Knaes moving up on the left-hand side, trying to set things up as well as Sergio Henao drops back a little bit in the group, and this is not the time to do that. Still very much to the fore, though. It's little riders get rare opportunity for a breather, working their way through this little left and right-hander. Knaes right to the fore. And of course Ben Swift is in good sprinting form, finishing fifth yesterday, second in the bunch sprint. Tony Martin sitting third now, just behind Terpstra. And now it's Omega Pharma Quick Step that picked things up. BMC look to get involved. They've been involved in all the breakaway action. They've had relatively free ride in terms of chasing things down. We're inside the final 3 kilometres as we race towards Heiden, and riders peeling off as they hit the final wall. And what a perfect situation for Omega Pharma Quick Step, as Tony Martin is being shepherded to this final drag in an absolute perfect situation. We're seeing Cadel Evans for the first time in this race starting to show up towards the front for BMC. This might be the kind of finish that he likes, if it's just that little bit steeper than the sprinters like it. And this is one of those finishes that tends to bring it bring more and more riders into contention. It's just that little bit tougher for the sprinters, and it's maybe not as tough as the climbers would like it, but they're all willing to have a go, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah, just sitting at the front, you can see Trentin, number 17, just behind him, Tony Martin in the yellow jersey. And then we get Jörg Priedler just sitting for Giant Shimano, third place. Formolo up there, Burkhardt, Evans, you can just see Albacini, Brescio, all up there towards the front. This is going to be a very interesting finish. And let's not discount number one, the world champion, Rui Costa.
Yes, and the champion of this race. And look, just to his left is Peter Sagan, who's trying to stay as far back as he dare for as long as possible, because this is going to be the late show. You leave this one as late as you possibly can. Peter Sagan, of course, is wearing the white jersey with those red dots, which is the points leaders jersey in this competition. And that is a very, very small and select group now, as Trentin leads Tony Martin. Martin looking very, very comfortable at the moment, but this is, well, it's a very, very tough pace, as can be evidenced by the number of riders that have been shelled, but still it's the phony war. They haven't quite lit the blue touch paper and really gone for the finish yet. 2.3 kilometers remaining. Kenyuk looks around to see, has he got a teammate? Looks like he could be flying solo, and Kenyuk goes for a flyer, and who's going to cover this one? Giant Shimano recognise the danger of the Manxman.
Yeah, Kenyuk goes for it. Priedler in second place here for Giant Shimano is the ride that they reacted the quickest. But it's François de Jeux at the front trying to close things down. You can just see Formolo also up here, very good climber, just sitting in front of the yellow jersey of Tony Martin. And Albacini just waiting to pounce. He's sitting on the yellow jersey of Tony Martin.
Well, Peter Kenyuk sitting 10th overall. Within a half a minute of the race lead. Is in fine form. And many people expect that he'll be heading to the Tour de France in the service of Chris Froome, but now he's racing for himself. He's looking around to see if he's got any teammates. Where's Sergio Henao? Is Bradley Wiggins still in this group? I suspect Wiggins is gone at this point. Henao seems to be struggling as Christian Knaes trying to get his riders into position. And Kenyuk looking around, doesn't see any Sky jerseys. He's racing for himself, I feel.
Matthias Frank moves up on the right-hand side in the white jersey, also up towards the front. Garmin Sharp have Acevedo towards, but just look at the depleted peloton. There can only be about 30 riders left battling it out for this stage here.
Yeah, it's definitely not one for the sprinters here. Looking good for Peter Sagan, as he was looked relatively comfortable in the group, and he's still in there. Look at Rui Costa starting to move his way up, and he's just ahead of him. Is it Acevedo for Garmin Sharp? As the Wanty Group Gobert riders has managed to infiltrate this group as well, which is excellent effort. Kenyuk recognises the danger. Lampre and Merida have Val Ferry inside the final kilometre. They've reached the kite, and it's a small group that is going to battle for honours on this third stage of the Tour of Switzerland. Anyone who's made it this far is in absolutely fine form indeed, because it's been a really, really tough fight to this point in this stage. Kenyuk has dropped off the front. Looks like he hasn't quite got it. Peter Sagan has managed to force his way into 5th or 6th position. Val Ferry is looking to see, and is that Tendam? Lawrence Tendam has decided to go for a big gear attack, or I think more it's about trying to maintain the steady tempo and make it difficult for anyone to move up in the group.
Tony Martin moves up in the yellow jersey on the right-hand side, and the reaction straight from Evans for BMC in the red. Schlachter is not far behind, but the world champion in the white, 500 metres to go, but also with the green helmet in the white is Peter Sagan sitting in third place. Albacini in fourth, the world champion Rui Costa in fifth.
Well, I was just about to say don't rule Tony Martin out of this, but inside the final 400 metres, as Cadel Evans goes for it, he's got Peter Sagan in absolutely perfect position on his wheel, but it's Cadel Evans, disappointing Giro d'Italia for him at the conclusion, but still shows that he's come out of that 3 weeks with good form, and he goes for the line. He's inside the final 300 metres. He must realise it's difficult now. They go left, and they're going to go up again, a massive hairpin, and he's first out of the final corner. Looks like the perfect position, but here comes Here comes Peter Sagan. He's at Albacini on his right-hand side. Albacini for Orica Green Edge goes for the line. Sagan is leaving it as late as he possibly dare as they go through this final right-hander and managing to find his way through on the left-hand side. Has Peter Sagan got something left? There's no one going to stop him. It's all too easy. For Peter Sagan, he takes victory on stage 3 ahead of Albacini. And what a perfect performance. Absolutely exemplary sprinting effort. He certainly knew the finish. He'd looked at the road book. I suspect he'd looked at it on video as well, and it was a perfect finish for Peter Sagan, who delivers the stage victory that so many expected. Albacini has to be satisfied with a nonetheless fine effort and a second podium finish in a row for the Orica Green Edge squad. But Peter Sagan gets the win that he came to Switzerland looking for. So Peter Sagan adds to his points total, more particularly he adds to his total of stage victories in the Tour of Switzerland, which numbers 5 I think or more at this point. He certainly takes a stage win pretty much every time he comes to this race. As riders make their way through to the finish. Christian Knaes there at the head of the group for the Sky squad. Linus Gerdemann for the MTN Quebec team, but well, that was an absolutely perfect performance from Peter Sagan. Looked as if he might get a little bit squeezed as he went through that final turn, Brian.
Oh, obviously, he had every right to go on the inside, and he moved over, but he still obviously could have closed the door on Peter Sagan. He never did that, and Sagan came through on the barrier side to take the stage win, but you can't say anything against what Albacini done. He done everything perfectly, but unfortunately there was a better man in the day. Now it's Peter Sagan. He pointed at his legs in the finish, and they were the things that obviously won him the stage. As you see Bradley Wiggins coming up the finishing straight now. It's been tough for a lot of the riders, but again, Bradley Wiggins is going to finish this stage some distance behind Peter Sagan. In fact, it's going to be well over 2 minutes here.
That's 9 stage wins for Peter Sagan in the Tour of Switzerland. No luck for Bradley Wiggins. Not really the form that he would have hoped for. Announced before the start of this race that he wasn't going to be taking part in the Tour de France, or as far as he was concerned, the team had made that decision. And perhaps the motivation not quite what he might hope at this point, but still he'll be a factor later in the week. There is a time trial for him. Peter Sagan. 9 stage victories in Tour of Switzerland. An important success for him. It's been a relatively thin 2014 for him so far.
Yeah, he's just building up for the Tour de France. Obviously that's another big goal for him. So he rode very well at the start of the year in a lot of the classics. Finished, I think it was 6th in the Paris-Roubaix. But here we've seen the sprint here. Albacini the best possible line inside in the corner. Could have moved all the way over and just bumped against Sagan. He could have closed the door completely, but he didn't. Just gave enough room for Sagan to win. And
as far as you're concerned, Albacini could have run all the way out to the barrier in that final ride.
Maybe some of the other riders would have moved, because he looks down there. He knows that Sagan is there, and that's the reason why he doesn't go all the way over towards the barriers. He could have done that. Some riders may have done that, but Albacini deciding that he wanted obviously a clean sprint, and he was in the best possible place, never shut the door on Peter Sagan, and Peter Sagan fortunately had enough room to come through and win that stage with Sergio Hanau sitting there in 3rd place.
Yeah, great effort from him. Now, I did say that he seemed to be slipping back in the group earlier in the wind-up, but he just it was all about timing, really. He didn't want to come to the front too early. Cadel Evans launched the sprint with just 400 metres to go, but just a little bit too far out.
Yeah, just got in a very good place, and he knew we'd already talked about it inside the last kilometre, a hard ride, and then you did that hairpin, and then the short finishing straight. So again, Cadel Evans would have known that, and he just really wanted to stay near the front, because anything could have happened in that finish, because it was really tricky, and everybody was bumping and barging and trying to stay near the front.
So there's confirmation of the Stage 3 order. Peter Sagan takes the win ahead of Michael Albacini, and Sergio Henao gets up for 3rd in his return to racing. Good effort too from Bauke Mollema And Cadel Evans showing that the Giro d'Italia hasn't taken too much out of his legs. Rojas, Costa, Pino, Frank, Kreuziger round out the top 10. Perfect effort from Peter Sagan. A little bit of elbow to elbow with Albacini. Albacini was Tony Martin's tip going into this stage. Pretty good tip indeed. It was definitely a good each-way bet. The local man on this occasion denied. And Peter Sagan comes up with another variation on the stage win celebration.